So my name's Adam Powney. I'm a former broadcaster for the British Forces Broadcasting Service, now a social media coach with the same company, and I used to go here at Solent.
Is it good to be back at Solent?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why. This place sounds so cringy, but this place kind of was the making of me. Came to uni not knowing at all what I wanted to do, and then I left having done everything I wanted to do, ready for the real world, so to speak.
So where's the weirdest place your career's taken you post-Solent?
So it's kind of the weirdest and the best place because I've literally just come back from the Falkland Islands with the FBS. So I was doing the breakfast show out there for 3 months. But the Falklands as a place is stunning, but so weird because it's so barren. And you saw it on the telly and in the conflict and everything, and it's still kind of unchanged. It's quite cool. But yeah, it's really weird to go there. I've been there twice now, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that I've had twice. And yeah, the weirdness is no one will really get the chance to go there unless you pay a lot of money.
So if I was looking to get into like a big radio station, what's your top tip for getting your foot in the door?
I kind of did it a roundabout way. I kind of went into the production of radio stations and then got into presenting by accident, really. So my top tips would normally be, don't be afraid of failure, because people are bound to say no, but you've got to just learn from every experience and adapt and evolve yourself. And you're not going to get it right this early on. As soon as you get into the industry, just be prepared to work from the bottom and all the way up. People do say that. Start as a runner, go the way up, start as a broadcast assistant or something. But that's kind of where you learn the best skills. And I was just lucky enough to jump straight in as a presenter with a broadcasting service that allows people to just get on with it and grow.
So how do you like spend your time outside of like presenting radio shows?
Yeah, it was quite tough at the start actually, because on breakfast you start really early, which means you finish early as well. So then you have the whole day to yourself. And I didn't have much of a life when I was hammering the breakfast shows, because I would just be productive and work on my own little personal development stuff. I'm so keen on learning. It's so sad, but I'm a strong believer in you never stop learning, and anything you can do. Like in the Falklands, for example, 3 months doing a breakfast show, I would finish. But in the Falklands, you can't really go anywhere. You're stuck on the military base for a bit. So you either drive into Stanley or you just get on with your own life admin. And I just did a bit of professional development myself just to up my game. And subsequently, I've now got a new job in the same company, but something that's a bit more me rather than broadcasting. So
if I was going to add some events to my bucket list, like networking events for radio, what would you say I should add?
You're part of the SRA,
yes.
Radio Sonar, right?
Yeah.
So I made most of my connections in radio at the SRA conference and the awards in November, which have just gone. They're kind of where you meet the people that are going to be in the industry around the same time as you. So that's something to always bear in mind, is you go to SRAcon and you look around, and they should probably get people to network a bit more at these, because the people to the left and right of you will probably be working in the industry at the same time as you. So they are your network. And I remember standing at the front when I was going for the training and development officer role years back, and I just stood and looked at the auditorium. I was like, that is my network.
Yeah.
And it's just right in front of you. People will know roughly who you are if they don't know you. But yeah, definitely SRAcon and the awards. And just one thing that I did as well on the back of SRAcon is just drop people an email, ask to buy them a coffee, ask to pick their brains, because people in radio, myself included, like, we like a bit of an ego trip. Like we don't have big egos, but some people like to just feel like, oh, people want to get to know me. Great, cool, and I get free coffee out of it. So just be willing to drop them an email or a text or a message or whatever you have them on, and just say, I'd love to pick your brains about what you do. Can I buy you a coffee?
What sort of networking did you do whilst you were still at university?
So I spent most of my time actually networking rather than doing the course, because you always hear the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that still is the case because people know a lot more now. More people know a lot more. So it's actually, you need to utilise who you know. So I prioritised it, and it was kind of split into three things. It was the organised events at the uni, like Next Step Conference, which is really handy and really good. And then it's people I knew through, like my sister who works in the industry. She knew the head of production at Global. Then I got shadowing experience. Then I went back, and then I actually got paid work the third time. So that came out of it. And then Radio Sonar. It really was the making of me. I became station manager, and through that I was able to meet all the other station managers, all the other people in the SRA who actually work in the industry. And then as a result, I was then on the board of the SRA as training and development with people who worked in the industry. So yeah, most of the 3 years was spent with Radio Sonar and like hammering it hard because I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I knew the people I surrounded myself with were exactly the same.
So how influential was your experience in sound production, radio specifically?
Massively. I knew I wanted to specialise in the sound part of the course, so I did, and I'm glad I did because my first job out of uni was freelancing at Global in the creative team making adverts, and I was doing O2 Priority, and just the basics of knowing how to edit sound helped massively. How to chop, how to piece things together, pace and stuff like that was really helpful. I didn't expect to actually use what I learned wholly in the industry. It was amazing, and I still do it today. Yeah, it's really cool.
So what's the difference in terms of content creation between presenting by yourself versus when you're presenting with someone else, or do you just do presenting by yourself mostly?
See, through experience myself, BFBS, and increasingly more so in the industry, I would say, is you're on your own a lot. And one thing I'm very grateful is I did media culture and production, where you learn everything, because at BFBS you produce the show, you present the show, you produce the packages, you go out reporting, putting that together, you do the social media, you write the website articles, you literally do everything you can. And I'm just grateful that I chose the course here at Solent because I learned everything I needed to before I got the job.
So obviously you just got your new job as social media coach. How important is it for like radio presenters to have like a good social media presence?
So I used to say this at uni was, although you have your LinkedIn and a CV and a creative CV, every job I've gone for, the person who's interviewing or shortlisting Googles you.
Yeah.
What is your social media like? And I remember coming in to do a small seminar on, it was about branding online basically, and how it's important to have the same kind of message across all the board. Twitter's more professional, Facebook's more friends and personal, so lock it down so no one can see it. LinkedIn is professional, but as long as you've got the same kind of message going across, then you'll find that you're kind of on message with yourself.
Can you tell me one thing you've learnt from each of the following stations?
Okay.
Sea Haven FM.
Whoa, this is going way back.
Yeah.
So this was my first like intro to radio. I was in year 8 at school.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and my maths teacher managed to organise. He managed to organise a group of us annoying students to do a Saturday afternoon slot, a couple of hours on Sea Haven FM, the community station back at Seaford. And we had a show. We chose the music, we pieced it together, and we just went on air on FM. And there's a picture that keeps coming up on Facebook every like 4 years or whatever of me, shaved head, because my mum used to cut my hair. And I'm posing there in a little fleece and trackies, like, radio studio, it's amazing. And I caught the bug then, and I did go back, managed to, way back in the general election years ago, Nick Clegg came and I was like, can I volunteer for you again? And I got to meet him. So Sea Haven FM was my first exposure, and that was where I caught the radio bug. So after I caught the bug, I used to like host an online radio show. I had like the laptop microphone, just had it, what, gross. And I used to upload MP3 files out of illegally downloaded. And I think it was called Spreaker.com, something like that. And people would host online shows. You would just put it on Facebook, listen to me on air. And it would just be me in my bedroom with a microphone, playing songs and just talking. But again, that's kind of the way radio is now. It's kind of, it's going digital, isn't it?
BBC Radio Kent.
So this was a part of work experience for one of the units, professional development, I think it was. And I knew one of the news producers, senior news producers there, and I just shadowed for a week or two, maybe a week. And it's kind of been my first exposure to news radio, because BBC Local Radio is quite news heavy, because that's just the nature of it. And I kind of thought I would be shadowing the shows and stuff like that more. But I was exposed to more of the news side, which is actually really interesting, because I then found myself at BFBS kind of being a journalist a little bit.
Radio Sonar.
Legend. Literally the best time of my uni life. I learned kind of the hard way about radio, because when I joined Solent, I knew I wanted to join the Radio Society. So Radio Sonar, joined it, didn't get a show for the whole year. I still turned up to every meeting, every AGM and stuff like that. And the station manager at the time, Callum, who I'm friends with now, who works for the BBC, he looked at me and he goes, "Who are you?" I was like, "I'm Adam, been here a year now, still haven't got a show." He goes, "You're joking, you haven't got a show? You're the only one who blooming turns up." So consequently, I then got the marketing role, because they saw I was committed, and then I got a show, and then station manager, and seeing the station grow over the years that I was there, and now it's just been amazing. And the Radio Sonar years are the years where I met my network. I learnt all the skills of how a radio station actually kind of runs, because despite it being a student radio station, you've still got to run it like a proper station. So I learnt more of the industry of radio rather than the presenting side there.
Sam FM?
I was on the street team for Celador, just based here down in St Mary's. And I only did this for a short time because I knew Chris Huskins, who was at the time the marketing coordinator person there. And I was on the street team. And this is kind of where I learnt the commercial side of it. So we would go to events, and it kind of highlighted the importance of exposing people to the station rather than just hearing it. And I'm still a big believer in street teams and having that face-to-face with the public that listen to you, because it makes all the difference. Because on the radio it's very one-to-one, it's very intimate. That's the point that I learnt. You need to take pride in your work, and every piece of work you do is kind of your brand a bit, because every package I did would go around the Forces network.
How important was it for you when you left university to like hold on to like other skills like photography and videography?
Massively, because even at my job at BFBS, you're there for radio, but you have to do a video, you have to take photos, and it's a hobby of mine now. Photography is still a hobby of mine, and videography is still a little bit of a hobby of mine. It's all a bit different now, because I know with us at BFBS, we can just whip out an awesome video on our iPhones now. We're given phones, that's your camera, that's your editing software. It's fine, it works. And I do it as a hobby now because I'm a bit of a geek, I love it. Photography, all over that. But it's just handy that the skills that I want to hold on to, I have to use in my job anyway.
What's the best and hardest thing actually about working in radio?
I'll start with the worst thing, the fear of the unknown. Because I'm quite lucky with a station like BFBS, it's quite safe. Like all the changes in commercial radio at the moment have seen loads of people come to BFBS from places like Heart and stuff, because they've cut right down, they've minimised their output to save money really, and put more effort into those big shows, which I get why they've done it, but it's quite an unstable industry at the moment, and people are kind of worried and have been worried, and they've lost their jobs. But the best thing is you do what you love, You kind of have the freedom to do what you love. And I say to people, it's pretty good being paid to talk in between songs for a living.
How secure is radio as a career path financially?
It's common knowledge that radio is not the best paid gig unless you're on the big BBC stations or you've got the Heart Breakfast. I kind of refuse to go down the freelance route because it's unstable. You're never guaranteed what kind of work you've got unless you're kind of in the pool of presenters. Once you're in, it's a bit more stable because you kind of know you're going to have money here and there. But I did freelancing for 4 months at Global in the creative team, and I kind of knew I was always thinking ahead. And it was quite stressful, always looking ahead to the next job rather than focusing on the job you have.
So this is the last question. You might have seen this. What's scarier, sitting down in front of a microphone for your first time, or piloting a Apache helicopter?
See, luckily, I don't fly the Apache. If you ask me what's scarier, firing a rifle for the first time, or stepping in front of a microphone, 100% the microphone. Especially, it's just that moment you kind of go into your own little bubble. I remember the first time on an FM station, I put my mic up. Whatever you plan on coming out doesn't come out.
No.
Yeah, it's terrifying. But a few links in, you're okay.
Yeah.
If in doubt, play it out, that's what I say, play the music.
Thank you very much.
No, pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Just stick at it. Don't get disheartened if it doesn't go to plan. You're young enough to kind of trial and error. I'm still finding what job I want still.
Yeah.
Just stick at it, don't give up.